Hey guys, it's IPD. This is going to be more of a talking head video with some gameplay in the background. Now, originally, I didn't think I was going to do a video on this, and normally it's because this is me really not staying in my lane. I think this topic has been covered to death, but there's been a nagging sensation at me lately regarding this situation, and I'll just outright say it. This is regarding SimRacing 604's battle with SimDream and everything that's been going on there. And in reality, you know, this is going to be more of like a story time talking head video, which again, this is out there for me because normally this is my channel for dumping all my Twitch streams. But I feel like something has to be said. Just to preface everything before we go into the topic at hand, just to go over the past week, SimRacing 604 late last month released a video highlighting SimDream's actions and their sketchy history and why you shouldn't buy from them, something he's well within his right to do, and something that, you know, should have been said outright. And then it got me thinking, it's like, where have I heard this before? Where has this happened before? So, my main content, and like I said, just going back into my lane for a bit, is Doom content. I play the old school Doom games. I love Doom mods, I love Doom WODs, I love all of that. Sim racing's something I've always had a secondary hobby for. And it's something I've just recently got into a little bit more seriously. And, you know, people like SimRacing 604, Random Call Sign, Empty Box. I've been watching him for years. You know, these are the content creators that are going to be the backbone of the community. And with SimRacing 604 coverage of Assetto Corsa's mods, he actually was, and his videos were integral for me to get into the game to begin with, because at first I had no clue what I was doing. And then I realized something after watching all of the videos. I mean, there's just so much content out there at this point. And I know I'm making this video late. And, you know, the footage in the background right now should be me driving around Montreal in a Formula V12. And, you know, if it wasn't for some of these content creators that, you know, show you, like, how the game is supposed to work, how to set up your wheel, how to set up mods, how to set up skins, how to set up everything. Like the skin I'm using right now is from the 1993 Formula 1 season. That is absolutely amazing. But again, it still nagged at me. Where have I heard this before? And just to go into a little bit more detail as to why 604 made that video, it's because SimDream was stealing content from other modders, and of course, they've backtracked since then. They went back and said, hey, you know what, we're going to have new policies regarding the mods we release and everything, you know, all fine and dandy. And I guess rainbow at the end of the road, or, you know, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, however you want to look at it. At the same time, I'm still sitting here going, this doesn't excuse the fact that they did those actions. However, that being said, I'm glad, you know, 604 got his channel back. Just because of, like, you know, helping the new players. I mean, I am a baby sim racer. When you see this racing footage, you're going to see a lot of crashing, you're going to see a lot of mistakes. I am not a very well driver. Even though I do stream myself doing the Brazilian stock car series, because those are actually easier cars to drive for me. But when it comes to modding like this, and everything that you went through, SimDream got word of this and decided, hey, you know what? We don't like this content, we're going to issue DMCA strikes. And for content creators on YouTube, that is a huge thing. That could delete your channel essentially. But you've all heard that before. You all heard about how, you know, his channel was facing deletion until SimDream decided, hey, you know what, we're going to contact YouTube and make it right. But this is something that goes on in modding all the time. Mod stealing from other mod creators, then trying to profit, is something that is very prevalent, and I think in most games. One of the things that I think holds the gaming industry together is the modding community. And I'm not just talking about SimRacing. I'm not just talking about Doom, but any game. I mean, Fallout 4 would not have been able to survive so long if it wasn't for the modding community. Doom 2 and 1 wouldn't be able to survive so long if it wasn't for the modding community. Assetto Corsa is pretty much keeping sales active because of the modding community. You know, you name me one other game that you can go down with a functional AE86 down Mad Akina versus a yellow RX-7. Not many games. Not many games to do realistically. The initial D games are very arcadey. But again, you know, that's at the backbone of modders. And the way modding gets to the forefront is through content creators. You know, in the Doom community, we have Mr. Icarus, we have Big Mac Davis, we have I Am Alston. In Twitch, you have Bridgeburner, who's a mapper. You have, let's see here, Devo, Cinder Thief. You know, and then when you look at like the racing scene, you have way bigger names. You have, you know, the aforementioned SimRacing 604. You have, of course, the Shed Boy himself. You have Empty Box. You have, you know, you have all these names here. And the thing is, though, is that those names exist on the backbone of the modding community. And I think one of the things that in a recent video, Ermin, I can't pronounce his last name, you know, was talking about his experience as a software engineer. And I think his experience as a software engineer and a music producer, as well as a content creator. And I actually have to fully agree with that. I think there is a fine line here between what constitutes fair use, what constitutes content policy strikes, things of that nature. And I'm not going to get into the details of that because, you know, that's going to be a totally separate sort of thing, and that's not really something I'm specialized in. But what I am specialized in is history and seeing patterns in history. And this is getting to the crux of the video. Let's go ahead here and just get off the racetrack for a second. Ah. This is much better. Or is it? The lighting's a little different. There's reflections. Well, very minor reflections. Everything seems way too smooth and unpixelated. This is an illegal copy of Doom. Well, I wouldn't say an illegal copy of Doom, but rather an illegal copy of a mod. And that's because this is Doom Remake 4, or the version I'm playing is Doom RTX. In 2018 and early 2019, this mod created waves in the Doom modding community. This mod is probably one of the few mods that got taken down by Bethesda themselves. And this was a real shocker to the community because A, there were some modders that were afraid that their work was going to get removed because they used Doom and some Doom assets, but also because it brought this subject to the forefront in a different community. What had happened is what Doom Remake 4 was, or Doom RTX, is that what you're looking at here is a compilation of different mods someone else made. And then this guy compiled them all together and quote-unquote made his own mod, essentially. Maybe added some light coding to get everything to play nice. And then from there, he decided, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get my WAD Smush, and I'm going to add everything into that. That's going to be all the IWADs and the boss levels. And without getting any permission from the mod makers themselves, without getting permission from Bethesda themselves, he was selling this. And this ultimately led to the shutdown of the mod. He was distributing illegally the IWADs. And for those of you that don't know what an IWAD is, that's pretty much just the Doom games. Doom 1, Doom 2, TNT, Evolution, and then if you're savvy enough, you can make a Master Levels IWAD. And you can't distribute those. that is illegal to distribute, despite what John Carmack says. He doesn't care if it's pirated. But at the end of the day, Bethesda might care, and Bethesda did. And this is what brought this whole debate back to the forefront in 2019, 2018, and I think a little bit of 2020 because people were still talking about it then. And we're looking at this and we're thinking to ourselves right now, it's like, oh, well, now these guys are stealing mods. These guys are stealing from other content creators and profiting off their work. And now it's becoming a huge problem because there's a lot bigger names involved. But this is something that's been happening for a while. It's even happened in the Fallout 4 community. Someone actually had to remove their mods off of the Nexus because their assets kept getting stolen and put into other people's work. And I don't blame these people for getting pissed. I don't blame some of these mod creators that are having stolen assets from them. It's not right to sell them. It's not right to profit off of someone else's name. And in Doom Remake or Doom RTX's case, one of the biggest condemning things about the whole thing is that the person didn't even credit the modders. When you look through the README, when you look through everything, he might have mentioned names here and there, but didn't credit a single modder. There was no links to where you could get it. There was, to get the individual mods he used, there were no mention of the names of the modders themselves. He just used the names of the mods and that was it. And in some cases that's fine. If you read the readmes of Doom mods, there's a lot of them that say, yeah, feel free to use whatever you want from this for your own work. But others say, please contact me first. Or some will say, do not use this. Those are things you have to respect. And that's something of a legality too. Like, copyright is very weird in that sort of sense because all you really have to do in order to claim a copyright on something is just create it. And then if someone uses it without your consent or uses it without your permission, you could be in trouble for that. I think a YouTuber got in trouble from the Five Nights at Freddy's community for posting fan art on his YouTube channel and was not giving proper credit. And even when he did give proper credit, he wasn't getting permission from people to portray their mods, to portray, well, not their mods, but to portray their fan art on their page. And some of those people were commission artists. And, you know, they rightfully felt that this person was stealing from them. I have long since forgotten who the name of that person was. The thing is that this is a major problem, and I'm bringing this to light now because the story of Doom Remake 4, or as it was later called Doom RTX, because he dropped Ultimate Doom Visor and the 3D models from I forget what engine, and instead just went with the 2D sprites to make it more authentic feeling, but still arguably a crappy WOD to begin with because the PBR textures would chug machines and things like that. But I think this is a story that stands to time, that this isn't new. This isn't something that's just happened. And I think me releasing this video after the conversation's taken place is a little bit more in tune with what needs to be said. I think I'm using the right word here. I think it's a little bit more relevant because I've given time to kind of reflect on everything and not have just an emotional knee-jerk response or anything. Because rightfully so, it was bullshit what happened. But I wanted to take an objective look at this, and again, it just all felt familiar. And just to kind of draw everything to a close and draw everything to a conclusion, Doom Remake 4, or Doom RTX, was removed from ModDB, both instances with the user being banned, under the pretense that he was using stolen content. Not only that, but Bethesda issued them a cease and desist order because they found out he was, in his home country, he was selling the mod on a disc, which, again, had the iWads on it. So, you know, it's like, if you're going to do this, you can only get away with it for so long. You can only you can only steal from people for so long before they take notice. And I think another YouTuber brought that to the forefront as well, where they were like, yeah, this only works for so long. And I think one of the other things that was said was, you know, the SimRacing community is so small, there isn't much money to be made. And I think the same could be true for the Doom community because it's even smaller. And as someone who does make a lot of Doom content using mods, I'm trying to make sure that I credit everything. However, I will say in this video, you will not find links to this mod that I'm using. I will include the link to Ribik's finely crafted fetish film, which you should be seeing now. And, you know, there's great content out there, and modding increases the longevity of the game. Let's not try and ruin that. Let's not try and ruin our favorite games. Let's not try and make companies step in and then pull the fun for everyone else because a couple people are greedy. And I'm not going to say the trite and overused, let's be a community, guys, group hug. But at the same time, let's actually, you know, be communal and call people out before it gets to a point where people are reporting on it on YouTube. Leave those reviews. Talk about it in the forums. I can't tell you how many times in Doom Facebook groups someone will post the link from a very well-known, and I'm not going to use the name here, but the link from a very well-known tech magazine posted an article online about Doom RTX. And people are like, wow, this is amazing. Look where you could download it. And then not a single person on the Facebook page realized where it was from and what was happening. Because the story was only breaking in like the Doom forums or the Doom Reddit. And it's like, you know, you had to open your mouth about it because not many people knew that it was stolen assets. And even now, if you go back to that famous PC article, that tech magazine article, they have an update saying that this was stolen content. They have since removed the links to download the mod. They have since redacted their stance as to it being groundbreaking. And I think one of the biggest misleading things about Doom RTX, if you could even call it misleading, is that the Doom engine can't support ray tracing. The RTX effect that the guy was using, and you won't see it in this gameplay footage that I had earlier, on the simple grounds that I can't get the PBR textures to work, is that they're PBR textures. PBR textures create a faux lighting effect. It's not like real-time ray tracing where the light is calculated in real time. It's just multiple textures piled. There's a very simplified understanding of it, and I might still get it wrong, but it's just multiple textures piled on one another to create a pop-out effect or to create light dancing off the objects effect. In fact, somewhere where you see PBR textures used a lot is going to be Doom 3, which is known for its lighting, but it doesn't use ray tracing. That's PBR textures. And while they are effective at what they do, it's still not RTX. And while the guy used the phrase RTX in his publication of the Doom mod, the mods that he borrowed from never said it was ray tracing. It just provided an enhanced lighting effect so that you could have reflective floors. And it was intended to be used as a tool for other mods, not just for altering the original IWADs, which is something else he got in trouble for. So, what have we learned from all this? This is one of those things that history is going to repeat itself on. Over and over and over again. Does something need to be done? Absolutely. Do we need to create the original artist's work? Absolutely. Do we need to protect content creators calling out fraudulent services? Yes. And do we need to protect people from slander and bullying? Yes. But finding this balance isn't going to be easy. And this road that we are embarking on in this next step, in this next evolution of the internet, we need to be more diligent about how we download mods, about who we're downloading from. I think in Empty Box's video, he stated, check who you're getting this stuff from before you even promote it, before you even talk about it, before you even play it. Look at the source material and see how reputable they are. And this could be important for avoiding viruses or, getting screwed out of hard-earned money. Lord knows in this cough era we live in, money is something that is extremely important. And if someone's swindling you, you deserve to know. I think that's all I really have to say on this subject. It's sad, in my opinion. It's really sad that this is still a problem. It was a problem in Fallout 4. It's a problem in Doom 2 or Doom. And now it's a problem in the modding community. And it's been going on for a while. And it's going to continue to go on. But as someone who's as small as I am, there's not really much I can do except make this video or stay frosty on the forums and talk about this. I think, yes, it becomes fatiguing. Yes, it's, you get that to that point where you just see it for the umpteenth time and you're like, dude, shut up. But at the same time, if you don't say anything, nothing's going to change and nothing's going to happen. My name is Eric. I punch demons. You guys have a good one. I am going to sign out for now.